Hello friends, welcome to Applied Programming Tips, and this is the platform where you can learn code concise, effective, beneficial and practical way. Okay, so here today we will learn about mocking framework. So I will explain what is mocking framework and why we should use that one. So you can see in agenda of this tutorial in this slide. So what we will be covering into this tutorial, first point is what is mocking framework, why mocking framework, and what are the popular available mocking framework in the market for .NET developer. So basically I will cover these 3 points, only these 3 points in these tutorials, and next 4 points will be covered in next video, or you can say next episode. Okay, so if I cover all the points in this tutorial, then this video will be too long. Okay, so just to make this video very simple and short, so I will cover only 1, 2, 3 points. Okay, so let's start. Let's try to understand what is mocking framework. Okay, so I just summarized everything here, so you can see in a simple word, mocking framework is a special kind of factory that create mock objects for test driven development, I mean in unit testing. Okay, and second thing, in object oriented programming, mock objects are simulated pre-programmed objects that mimic the behavior of real object in controlled way. So please focus this word, controlled way. Okay, so and last thing is, a programmer typically create a mock object to test the behavior of some other object. Okay, so this is the definition of mocking framework. Okay, so if this is clear to you, so that is good. If it is not clear to you, then don't worry, I will show you this thing practically in Visual Studio, so that you can get better idea, you can get clear idea what is mocking framework. Okay, so let's go into Visual Studio and try to understand what is mocking framework and why, and after this I will show you why we use mocking framework. Okay, why we need mocking framework. So let's go to the Visual Studio so that I can show you. Here we are in Visual Studio. Okay, so here you can see, just for simplicity I'm just using mocking framework here. So I will discuss it in details in upcoming slides. So just for now, just to make you guys clear what is mocking framework, I'm just took one mocking framework. Here is mock. Okay, so mock, what is mock, you have already seen in the slide. So mock framework is a factory, means mocking framework is a factory that provides an pre-programmed object to you in controlled way. Okay, so let me show you. If you see in this unit test case, okay, so here you can see I'm using mock. So this is the syntax to create mock object. Okay, so I'm just mocking employee service. So you can see in the business layer there is one interface, employee service. In the data access layer there is only one interface, employee repository. Okay, employee repository in the data access layer and employee services in the business layer, and I just want to test it. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just mocking this employee service, okay, with the mock keyword, okay, of the mocking framework. Here is mocking framework, and I am creating mocking object here by using mock keyword of mocking framework of type employee service, okay. And then I am just assigning few value to employee class, and I'm just stubbing, or you can say I'm just I'm just creating a stub for get employee method, and setting expectation with the return methods as we created object of employee. Here you can see here I'm just setting the expectation here, okay, and I am just stubbing this method here. So stubbing these two parts, you can say this is complete stubbing of method, okay. So let me show you. So you can say, so I think now you can get means you it is very clear basically from this line of code what is mock and what is mocking framework. So mocking framework is a special kind of factory that create an object in controlled way, okay. So let me debug it. Since you can see here I do not have any concrete class that implement iEmployee repository or iEmployee service, okay. Still I am able to create object of type iEmployee repository and iEmployee service, okay. So let me debug this unit test case, and you will surprise this unit test will pass. So you can see we do not have any concrete class implementing interface, okay, either iEmployee repository interface or iEmployee service interface. Still I am able to create unit test, okay. So I will show you. This will create an object, or you can say it will create test double, okay. So test double is a very new word in the unit testing word. So if you not aware about what is test double, so you can go back to my YouTube channel and you can see one of my video dedicated to all the common word common words are being used in the unit test word, okay. So you see here employee service, you can see here in the employee service we are getting object of the employee service, okay, fully object. So this is the magic, you can see we do not have any concrete class, but still we are able to create complete class of interface type, okay. So you can say employee service is the mock object, okay. And if you press F11, okay, then you can see okay, this test will pass. See, this test will pass, okay. So let's come back to slide. So I hope you can understand it. What is mocking framework? So in simple word, mocking framework is special kind of factory that create mock object, okay. So in a single line you can say mocking framework is a factory, special kind of factory that create mock object in controlled way, right? Okay. So does it make sense to you guys? what is mocking framework. Okay, that good. So let's move to the next slide, and in this slide we will try to understand why mocking framework. So let me ask few questions to you guys so that we can understand why mocking framework. So let's say if you have your business layer, you have your data access layer, and you have your test layer. Okay, so if someone say start writing your test cases, because if you are following test driven development, then you have to write test case first and your code afterward. So let me ask few questions. Without creating fake object, can we write unit testing if we have only abstract or interface in module? What do you think? What do you think? Can we create unit testing? No. My answer is no. We cannot create unit testing if we do not have any fake object, right? Because in .NET or C# we cannot create the object of abstract or interface, abstract class or interface. Okay, so if we cannot create the object of abstract class or interface, so how we can create unit testing? Okay, does this make sense? Okay, so let's move to our next question. Without creating fake object, can we write unit testing for not implemented methods? What do you think? My question is no. We cannot write unit testing for not implemented method. Why? Because this method always failed. So we cannot write test cases without creating fake object. So, but if you want to test this, if you want to test your module in this case, means mention these two case, we do not have any implementation of our abstract or interface, or maybe the case we have implementation of our abstract class or interface, but we haven't implemented our methods. So we normally cannot write unit tests in this scenario, but we can write test by using mocking framework. Okay, so does it make sense to you guys? Good. So let's move to the next slide and let try to understand it a bit more. So in the test driven development, we have to create new fake class to create fake object by implementing interface just to write unit test cases for state and behavior verification. That is very awkward, and they do not follow real code execution path. Okay, so let's say if in business layer you have employee service interface, then if you want to write test cases, then you have to implement your fake object. Means you have to implement your interface in some fake object. And if in your project there will be lot of interface, then you have to create object for all those interface and abstract classes. So those will be very awkward. Okay, so avoid these situations, you can use mocking framework. Okay, so and another point is, by using mocking framework we can create mock object like fake object without creating any new fake class, and it will follow the real code execution path. Okay, so if this thing is making clear what is mocking framework, then good. If not, don't worry, we will go into Visual Studio and try to learn it practically. Okay, so what benefit we are getting and why we are using mocking framework. Okay, so let's go back into the Visual Studio and let's try to understand each and everything one by one. See, let's say in the business layer we have only employee service. Okay, and we do not have anything inside it. We do not have any concrete class that implements this interface. Okay, but still I'm able to test this interface just because of mocking framework. Okay, so I have already explained you guys in these tutorials how to create mock, what is mock, and how to create mock object, and how we are testing this one. So, and I have already showed you this test how getting passed. Okay, so this is the first scenario. If we have only interface, then we can test by using mocking framework. So this is the reason why we use mock framework. Okay, and second thing, let's say if we have employee service and I want to test it, but normally we cannot test it. So what we will do in this case, so either we have to create one fake class. We have to create here one fake class, and we will be implementing that. You can say like fake employee service. Okay, fake employee service, and we will be writing this, and we will be implementing employee service, and we will be implementing this one. Okay, right? So maybe we will be returning something from here, and now we can test it. Now we can test it here. Let me uncomment this line. Okay, and let me make it fake employee. Now we can test it. Let me put here one debug point so that it is more clear. If you debug this class, then now we can write unit test case. But the odd thing is this approach is we have to create fake object for maybe for all the interface, or maybe we can have multiple interface in a one fake class. See, now we can test it. Okay, see, now we can test it. Okay, but the problem with this approach will be it is very awkward to create fake class for each interface. Okay, so in that case this is the problem. So if you don't want to create fake object, then you can just use your interface and you can test it. Okay, with your mocking framework. Okay, that is I'm using here mocking framework, and syntax are here. Okay, so let's now try to understand second scenario. Let's say if let me delete this one, let me modify this one a bit more. Let me make this real object. Okay, and let me try to remove this line and let me implement it. Okay, and this method is not implemented is with not implemented exception. And if I'm trying to, if I try to test it, then we will get error and we cannot test it. Okay, you can see here, if I try to write unit test case with not implemented method, then we will get error in the unit test. So see, we are getting error because this method is not implemented. So this is the scenario where this is the second scenario. So how we can test it with the mocking framework. Okay, so let me modify this code bit more. So let me use this line here. Okay, so what I will do, I will comment it out and I will use this employee service as a mock object. Okay, and I will assert this line. And I will show you. I will show you. I didn't do anything in this method. This method get employee is with the not implemented exception body. Okay, but still I am able to test it. See, because I am just stubbing. I am creating a stub here with the few expectation. Okay, so what I am doing, I am just bypassing this method with this stub, by this stub. So this is possible only with the mocking framework. Okay, now if I will run this, then you will see it will pass. See, this will pass definitely. So let's see. Here we go. So you can see here we are creating mock object. Okay, and here we are creating value of the expectation, and here we are stubbing the get employee method. Okay, so basically in the mocking frameworks, it's only we can only mock the virtual method. Okay, so in that case it is saying here invalid setup on a non-virtual override in VB. Okay, basically mocking framework use Kestrel proxy to create a mock object. So it's look for the virtual keyword to stub a particular method. Okay, so to avoid this error, what we have to do, we have to use here virtual keyword. Okay, so now this will run perfectly fine. So what I changed here, I just added virtual keyword because this is the prerequisite of mocking framework. So there are many other mocking frameworks, they do not require this kind of prerequisite, but in mocking frameworks only stop virtual methods. Okay, so now I will run and you will see, I will debug and you will say this test will pass. Okay, so these are the scenario why we are using mocking framework. Okay, so let me show you. See, now we can debug it, and definitely our setup will pass, our assert will also pass. See, our test has been successful. Okay, so these are the scenario where we require mocking framework. Okay, so does it make sense to you guys why we are using mocking framework? Okay, so these are the two scenarios. So let's move to the next slide. Here are popular available mocking framework in the market for .NET developer. Okay, so you can see here NSubstitute is the mocking framework, Rhino mocks is the mocking framework, and mock is the mocking framework, FakeItEasy is the mock framework, and NMock3 is the mock framework. Okay, and you can see which one is free, which one is not free. So you can see this NSubstitute is free, Rhino mock is free, mock is free, FakeItEasy is free, and NMock3 is free, also free. License, you can see the license, and you can see the latest version, and you can see here source code availability of all the mocking framework. So that's all for this video. So if you think this video is helpful for you, then please like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon so that you can get the newest video notification. Okay, so keep watching. Thanks and bye.